Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the CN podcast. I'm Vineet Ramakrishnan alongside Aakash, Biswas, and we are hours removed from the big ticket series, India's tour of England. There's a lot to talk about, lot to look forward to as well. And Aakash, none bigger than the fact that you have a young captain at the helm, a young captain, Shubman Gill, in his first test assignment, a very, very tough assignment, so to speak. Your initial thoughts on Shubman Gill? How is he going to take up this mantle? It'd be added pressure or not, because we've seen him in the IPL as a captain. He's done well, remarkably well, but it is a different ball game altogether.
Absolutely. If you look at the captain, if you look at the squad as a whole, it's completely a make or break opportunity for every single person. And speaking especially about Shubman Gill, he has age in his side because we have seen MS Dhoni taking up captaincy when he was 26. So was Virat Kohli. Tendulkar was 23. Ganguly was 28. And the people who took up captaincy in the later stage of their ages, like Rohit Sharma and Anil Kumble, they have had a different story. So, speaking particularly about Shubman Gill, I feel that he has that time, and we have seen what kind of temperament he has, what demeanor comes with. So he has the perfect stage set for himself to mold himself as the leader, a person whom fans and experts will look up to. And of course, if we talk about his personal milestones and all those numbers and all, he has, the ball is in his court. Now it's up to him how he acts to the situation.
But one of the biggest talking points would be the fact that you are getting in Shubman Gill as a captain, because we now know that Jasprit Bumrah was available, but he said, I'm not going to take up this leadership role. So it invariably went to a Shubman Gill. You could say that it is a second choice, that Shubman Gill was not an automatic choice. And one of the biggest factors here is the fact that he himself, as a test cricketer, we have seen him, his caliber and his potential. But outside of Asia and the SENA countries, it's not a happy reading in terms of what Shubman Gill has done or performed. Averages near about 24 in the SENA countries. You talk about England, it dips further down below the 20s. Doesn't have a big score yet. Yes, he has only played 3 matches in England. But even then, is it a case where Shubman Gill would be an added pressure for Shubman Gill as a batter, because he now needs to not only showcase his potential as a leader, but also as one of the better batters in that lineup?
See, now the bullet is off the gun. He has been named the captain. He has given all the media interviews. He's all over the social media as a new test captain of India. As we spoke about his numbers in SENA countries, we saw him making his debut in Australia. He played very well, played some great knocks that not only saved India in, precarious situations, but also helped the team to win a series in Australia. Going by that, it could be, as I said, a make or break norm for him, because with captaincy comes added pressure, added responsibilities. And as I said, it's yet to see how he deals with that. But speaking of as an individual batter, what I'm feeling is either he is going to, flourish, score big runs. And as we have heard that, this time the decks are going to be much flatter in comparison to the previous tours. So that could be a blessing for not just for Shubman Gill, but for all the batters in the team. And going by that, what I'm thinking is that Shubman Gill is going to flourish. And speaking about his captaincy, we have seen Virat Kohli, peaking in his career when he was given the leadership responsibility. So we can only hope that the same goes with Shubman Gill, because captaining India in a tour of England, that too with the squad whose average age is 26-year-old, that is a huge responsibility. And just hope that the best come out of him under pressure.
And also, that age factor also in a way gives you that advantage that nobody has any kind of baggage also. Very less baggage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very less baggage. I think the last time, in 2023, in Edgbaston, the WTC final was played. I think that was the closest you could call. Otherwise, nobody from this squad, very few from this squad were in that 2001 and 2022 series there. But from a Gill's perspective as well, for me, what I think is that moving him down to number 4, or him playing there at number 4 to fill in that Virat Kohli position also in Test cricket, really would help him from a leadership point of view, because in England, not just in England, anywhere outside of India, if you play, it is the opening with the bat or with the ball. With the new ball, how you perform, and with the new ball against an opposition, how you perform with the bat. That probably makes or breaks a test match or a test series.
Yeah.
So that pressure of Gill to open alongside whoever it may be is not there. He'll come down at number 4. KL Rahul, who had a very, very good series last time around, he was here, goes up. Do you think that number 4 position would be something that would ease that pressure off, or is it another added pressure that, you're filling in the big shoes of Virat Kohli?
Well, you have your own choice to look at it, because if one perspective is that there are no legends in this team at the moment. We don't have a Virat Kohli, we don't have a Rohit Sharma. For that matter, there is no Cheteshwar Pujara, there is no Ajinkya Rahane. So to mold a new top 4, that's where the challenge lies, because if you look at the bowling unit, somewhere down the line we are a few bases, not all, but a few bases covered, because we have Jasprit Bumrah right up there along with Mohammad Siraj. But if we speak about the batters, to form, as I said, to mold a completely new top 4 lineup is the biggest challenge. Now, it has to be seen whether the Indian management continues with that opening pair of Yashasvi Jaiswal and KL Rahul, which yielded good results in Australia. Now, if they want to carry forward with that, or they want to bring up Shubman Gill in the top of the order, that is, things to be seen. Point number 1. Or if not, if that's not the case, then I think because we have seen in the past series, in be it overseas or bilateral series at home, that there used to be good partnerships between Cheteshwar Pujara and Shubman Gill. In fact, this is on record that Pujara has said that he had enjoyed batting with Gill, for that matter. So even if Gill is not opening, I see him somewhere at number 4 or number 3. But again, because this is completely an untested territory, because a new era is going to shape up. So that could be the case. If Rahul and Yashasvi Jaiswal are batting, then I think there will be a tussle for number 3 batter, and in that case Shubman Gill will be there replacing Virat Kohli at number 4.
And also the fact of the matter is, whenever India in the recent past have toured outside of India or outside of Asia, the bowlers have done the job.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of a thing where they are looking at the batters, give us some runs to bowl at. And that has not been the case. You look at 2021-2022 series, you start off with that top 6, you had a Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Cheteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Rishabh Pant. Only 2 from that top 6 are still there. In Pant and KL Rahul. Yashasvi Jaiswal would open. KL Rahul most likely there. We've discussed that 3 and 5 could be the crucial thing, given the fact that Gill at number 4. A Sai Sudarshan or a Karun Nair, whoever could be from that squad. But from not just from a numbers point of view, how big of a hole or how big of a gap is not having your Kohli, not having a Rohit Sharma, and from that previous series, a Cheteshwar Pujara or a Ajinkya Rahane. You talked about the fragility in that batting unit. Who's that person, or who would be those guys who would come up and stand up? Because we remember, Lords was Siraj with that 8 wickets. Edgbaston show was all Rishabh Pant heroic. Pant has not been the same Pant since the accident. So it's fragility all over. But then again, if there has to be a silver lining, what are those silver lining in a potential way?
Well, when the squad was announced, the first thought that came in my mind was we are going to lose this 0-5. Now, in contrast to that, if you are asking me what could be the silver linings, then I think I see Karun Nair making a comeback. If not in Leeds, then obviously in the upcoming games, in the next matches. And if he is there, maybe at number 3. If you make
I'll
him bat,
put him at number 5.
If you make him bat at number 5 or 3, I think, as you said, 5 is the best place to make him bat. And the last series he played was against England, the 7 years back, when he scored a triple hundred, and then he
was actually dropped in the after the England tour
Yeah,
in
yeah,
England.
yeah.
He did not get a game. He was part of the squad, then was dropped very unceremoniously.
Yeah, and KL Rahul was also there. He missed out on a double hundred. He was out on 199. So I think that kind of a camaraderie we can see again. Two Karnataka boys, bailing India out of another early collapse. That could be a situation. So if you ask me about the silver linings, then Karun Nair could be it. And there is also a Sai Sudarshan. We haven't seen him, playing Test cricket. We have seen him doing great in IPL, in domestic cricket as well. But how he's gonna fare in this English conditions? That's also a mystery, I would say. So a box full of mysteries, and I hope that it should be entertaining for us, because it's a long series, 5 match test series, with a lot to prove for so many players. So at this moment, the silver lining what I can think about from the batting perspective is Karuna, because I personally want him to want to see him bat. And if you ask me from the bowling perspective, then I think Arshdeep Singh could be a dark horse, because I don't remember who was the last, lethal left arm pacer for India in Test cricket. Though T. Natarajan was there in Australia, but his
You'll have to go back to Zahir Khan
yeah,
era.
almost a decade back. And but in the near past, T. Natarajan was there in Australia, but we also know how he was included in
Very
the squad.
accidental
Yeah.
kind of debut.
So, but apart from that, if you try to find out a regular left arm pacer, who was the last regular left arm pacer, it will take some time to recall exact names. And in that case, when you are looking to, once again, I will say that when you are looking to mold a new test team, design a new test setup. So I think Arshdeep Singh could be that change maker. So these two names I would take.
But for me, I look at that bowling unit. You have a Jasprit Bumrah, you have a Mohammad Siraj, you have an Akash Deep.
Yeah. Prasidh
Your
Krishna also there.
your top three or your first choice three bowlers would be these three, and then you have a Prasidh Krishna. Then you have added to the squad somebody like a Harshit Rana as well. So I'm not really sure where does an Arshdeep would come in here. Would be very interesting, as you said. With Arshdeep, he can, yes, of course, the left arm factor is definitely there. Can swing the ball both ways.
Both ways.
But is he physically enough? Does he have the strength to bowl longer spells? That would be interesting for me to look at, because you have to remember 2 matches Jasprit Bumrah won't be there.
Yeah.
So you would need one extra bowler there. Do you add a Kuldeep and a Jadeja, for those? Because there would be probably 2 games wherein you may see two spinners operating in Jadeja and Kuldeep when Jasprit Bumrah is not playing, or would they give a hand to Arshdeep Singh? Would be very, very interesting call to take. Before moving on to the next phase of what this means to our head coach as well, just a word on what we discussed in terms of the team composition and bowling and everything. But there are crucial factor for England are your all-rounders. Nitish Kumar Reddy, Shardul Thakur, Ravindra Jadeja. And now we have seen in India A games, both of these guys, yes, Shardul Thakur did score 100, but their economies weren't the greatest.
Yeah.
How much of them or how much of their performances would make or break this series for Team India? Because with the ball and with the bat. Because Shardul Thakur was there in the previous tour. 8 wickets, if I'm not wrong, he took. Nitish Kumar Reddy, after that Australia good series, has not really performed to the level that we want to see, albeit in the IPL and everything, and now the unofficial test. So for the first test, a straightforward question would be, do you put a Shardul Thakur over a Nitish Kumar Reddy, or you just go ahead with a Kuldeep Yadav?
If you ask me, I'm skeptical about both the players, because we saw Nitish Reddy, that was a work in progress when we saw him in Australia. Though he scored 100, a great one at the MCG, but with the bowl, he wasn't that effective. And in fact, bowling coach Morne Morkel also accepted the fact that he has a lot of work to do with the bowling part. Now comes Shardul Thakur. The kind of test debut he made last decade, we have seen, just made his debut and injured. So that has been his story, in and out of the team. But he had a great Australia tour where he scored a 50 or a half century as well. Now he is coming into this series after scoring 100 in the intra-squad game. But does that enough? But is that enough for Shardul Thakur, or those contributions will be enough to put him in that 11, where you will, you will want want him to give that extra run in the down the order and pick up crucial wickets in the middle overs. So that's still, that's why I said this part as a skeptical for me. And now we speak about Ravindra Jadeja. We don't have to talk much about him because we know how he plays with the bat, and in some cases we have seen him more of a batter than a bowler. So yes, that's another challenging part going to be for the management to pick one from Shardul Thakur and Nitish Reddy. But going by the experience and the what he has done in the domestic circuit recently as well, and also in these India A matches or the unofficial Test matches. So I think going by that, Shardul Thakur may, make his place in the 11. But again, this Indian team management is batting obsessed, I would say, because
Yeah.
as you said, we have bowlers who would require the batter to give them that cushion of runs. So in that case, Nitish Reddy had that bowling power. But again, if Nitish Reddy fails with the ball, the workload will, increase on the likes of Jasprit Bumrah and Siraj. Then there could be a case we might see Jasprit Bumrah playing just 2 Test matches instead of 3. So a lot is at stake if you look at this squad, at this series from here. But if you ask me that who would make the cut from Nitish Reddy and Shardul Thakur, then obviously, going by the experience, it will be Shardul Thakur.
Shardul Thakur, and because he also gives you that extra added advantage with the ball as well. Better bowler than, far better bowler than Nitish Kumar
Nitish
Reddy.
Reddy,
So
yeah.
you need to stock up those bowling stocks and give Jasprit Bumrah that short burst. Maybe Shardul Thakur is the way forward. Moving on, the bigger question, not the bigger question, the bigger question has now been addressed in terms of Gill. But for Gautam Gambhir also, this is going to be a litmus test, because from a test perspective, you have overseen a series loss to New Zealand in India. You have overseen a series loss to Australia, BGT. It is under
You
your
couldn't,
stewardship. WTC final has not
yeah,
happened.
you missed that.
Yes, Champions Trophy, you've won. White ball looks good enough. But for Gautam Gambhir, how much of a pressure series this is going to be, considering the fact that, again, similar to Gill, he doesn't have the sounding boards of a Virat or a Rohit or an Ashwin or a Mohammad Shami. In a way, this is his team more than Gill's team. This is Gautam Gambhir's team. You would say that because Gill is very young to this, so this is probably a team molded by Gautam Gambhir. The addition of the 19th player in Harshit Rana for the first test also hints towards that. But for Gautam Gambhir, how big of this series result would be?
See, the losses against New Zealand and Australia had already put Gautam Gambhir in a spot, right? You have just become the head coach of the Indian cricket team across formats, and now suddenly under your stewardship, the team that was the front runner to make it to the WTC final, they were nowhere. They were knocked out of that race. And what happens next? Virat Kohli retires, Rohit Sharma retires, and now you get a bunch of youngsters to create a new test setup, a new test arena, the Indian test arena, and even if they lose this series, no matter what the scoreline will be, I think Gautam Gambhir will have that cushion to survive because it was a team of youngsters. They are allowed to commit mistakes, and it could be a learning for them. So that could be the case. That would be the case that I am visualizing from here. But if you look at the hindsight, if you look at the other part of it, I think Gautam Gambhir is going to instill his mentality through these bunch of players, and which could be a perfect reply to England's way of playing Test cricket that we have been calling baseball for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Because all these young batters have flair. They have shown that somewhere in the white ball cricket, be it in the ODIs, be it in T20Is, or be it in the IPL. Every batter, if you look at that top order, the possible top order, you have KL Rahul, you have Sai Sudarshan, you have Shubman Gill, you have Yashasvi Jaiswal. All of them are flamboyant batters, followed by Rishabh Pant, followed by Ravindra Jadeja. Shardul Thakur also knows how to smash sixes, how to smash those balls out of the park. So that depends now. If if these bunch of youngsters are, I mean, if this series is going to be a make or break opportunity for them, then so does for Gautam Gambhir as well, because his pride is at stake, the country's pride is at stake. And after losing a couple of test series, crucial test series, especially losing that WTC final spot, this is also going to be challenging for him, and a lot, as I said, a lot will be on stake from his perspective as well.
Yeah, lot at stake for somebody like Gautam Gambhir, the head coach, as well as we talked about it. Moving on to that final segment now, where we look at England, because yeah, all the talks have been around India and how strong or what is India's weakness, what are India's strength. Looking at England, and very interestingly, England, yes, they have not been part of any WTC finals, but the way their test cricket has been played under Brandon McCullum, the change that you talked about, that ultra aggressive form of cricket that they have played, if you look at the series that have been played right after the COVID restrictions ended, they've lost just one series.
Yeah.
They won everything else. They just lost one series. Yes, there were a few games against Zimbabwe or an Ireland. Against India and Australia, they continued that aggressive, ultra aggressive approach. At home, they are a beast. You look at that lineup. You have a Joe Root who amassed 747 runs in the previous tour when these guys were here. He is currently the number one test batter, hands down. You have a Ben Duckett, you have a Zach Crawley, you have an Oli Pope, you have a Jamie Smith, generational talent in a Harry Brook,
Ben Stokes to
Harry
that.
Brook and a Ben Stokes. So it's a gun batting unit. How do you stack up England's batting vis-a-vis India's batting? And do you see there any weakness there? Is it going to be a case where it is England's batting versus India's bowling?
See, England would be, looking to seek revenge what they suffered in India last year, and especially, I mean, experts have been saying that they might target Shubman Gill because he is coming as a new captain, a young captain. But one of the prime targets will be Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Yeah, yeah.
He just ruined their party last year, and they are not going to forget that. And now, as you spoke about the batting lineup, yes, it is a star-studded batting lineup, I would say. But the problem is, if one man falls in the top of the order, they crumble down. That has been the case with England. And now, if you look at their bowling,
Yeah.
that's the biggest worry for them, because um, I just cannot recall the players who have been there for this first test match and what they have done in the past.
I'll tell you, there is no Jofra Archer, there is no Mark Wood, there is no Gus Atkinson, there is no Oli Robinson, who was a menace in the last tour. What you have are Jamie Overton, Bryden Cars, and a Josh Tongue. Combined, their they're not even 10 test. And you add a Shoaib Bashir, who's another 10 test old, or maybe 16. That's about it. So very inexperienced bowling lineup. In a way, Chris Woakes becomes the leader of the pack. You don't have a James Anderson, you don't have a Stuart Broad. And in many ways for England, this is also kind of a transition where your legends have retired, and your new upcoming bowlers, or bowlers who needed to take that spot in an Archer or a Wood or an Oli Robinson, or even for that matter, Oli Stone, all of them are out injured, and you're looking at somebody like, you also brought in somebody like a 21-year-old Sam Cook to the squad, because who's not been talked about as well. So yeah, very, very frail bowling there. So that is why the question for me, how important does it become that England's batters click all together like a gun team? You talked about revenge. Ben Duckett would have that revenge in his mind, because he
made some statement about that baseball thing, and then they were
he
all
also got reminded a lot about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ben Duckett is there definitely. Stokes, the way would he bowl or not, is going to be another major cause of concern, or the big talking point there. So yeah, hence that question of, is it England's batting versus India's bowling? Pure and simple.
See, I don't want to, go deeper in these things, but the one thing that I would like to say, that if the cricket fans are want to enjoy this series, just have their eyes on India's top order versus England's bowling attack, and India's bowling attack versus England's top order. Now, these equations will help them, find the answers much easily, because The top order, our top order, still remains untested. Their bowling remains untested against India. And but if we speak about our bowlers against their top order batters, the names that pointed out, Zach Crawley, Oli Pope, Ben Duckett, for that matter. So that's going to be interesting. That we say that the matchups to look out for, that would be the case for.
So yeah, matchup to look out for would be very interesting. And as we said, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of action that is coming our way. June 20th at Leeds, one of the toughest venues for Team India. That is where it is starting. And we would be giving you all the coverage as well. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. And before signing off, this is Vineet, Ramakrishnan, joined by Aakash, Biswas. And we would be bringing you more of these podcasts and an entire coverage from this. So yeah, that's a wrap from us. Hope you enjoyed this. And don't forget to tune in again once we bring our CN podcast, another episode again. Thank you.